Hello YouTube, my name is Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales, and welcome to episode 3 of Dragon's Pipebomb. Okay, so for those who are new to the channel, this Dragon's Pipebomb, basically it's a vlogging series that I do every so often where I take different topics. Some of them are topics I've come up by myself, some of them are topics you guys suggest in the comment section below, and I discuss them in a little chat show sort of thing. It's like think of it like a one-man podcast basically. So maybe this morning you're having your breakfast, stick me on the background, stick me another tab, just listen to what I gotta say if you want to, if you're interested at all. Anyway, that's basically what the gist of the series is. It's been a while since I've done one of these. It's been about 4 or 5 weeks, so I felt like it's time to do another one. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to all my lovely patrons. They are in the description below. All the links and stuff are there as well. All the referral links and stuff that you guys need. I've now got a slightly different setup where I've got everything scrolling sort of above my head right now on a little bar as well. So everything you need is there, guys. Anyway, enough of the chit chat. So I've selected my own topics for today's Dragon's Pipe Bomb. There's three main topics we're going to delve into. It's going to be Liverpool's season. So obviously I'm a football fan. I'm a Liverpool football fan, so we're going to talk a little bit about that at the start. We're going to talk about a lack of enthusiasm for sort of video games, so I'm talking sort of modern video games as such. And then we'll finish up with a little bit of wrestling talk. We'll talk about the standard of the Wrestlemania card and probably talk a little bit about the Royal Rumble as well, the recent pay-per-view that we had in January just gone. So they're the things we're going to talk about, so sit back, relax, get yourself a nice cup of tea and enjoy, guys. Okay, so like I said, we're going to start off with the Liverpool talk, of the football talk. So I'm a Liverpool fan. I've been a Liverpool fan since I can remember, really. My dad is also a Liverpool fan. Well, my dad's quite old compared to me, but he's been supporting Liverpool since the late 60s, and I've been supporting them since sort of I guess you say the mid to late 90s. And it's quite an interesting thing because obviously with the big sort of football teams now and the whole kind of franchise kind of element of it and the amount of money that's been thrown about, you can have Liverpool fans in Asia and America and wherever around the world. That's what sport's like now. You appeal to a broader audience and a wider audience, which is fascinating. It's fascinating that people, around the world will travel from like Australia or where just to go to Anfield to watch Liverpool, and it's mad to think people will do that. And the support is phenomenal. And for me as a Liverpool fan, growing up in the playground in school, Liverpool weren't like the biggest club at all. It was Manchester United. Manchester United with the big team in English football at the time. They were on that sort of treble winning season of '99. They had Sir Alex Ferguson as manager, and like all the kids like supported Manchester United. You'd get like one or two Liverpool fans, one or two Arsenal fans, one or two Chelsea fans, but it's all like Man United. So it's interesting. I sort of grew up with I sort of grew up as being like the odd one out, I guess, if you will. Obviously being Welsh as well, I support the Welsh football team and Cardiff City as well, another team that myself and my father also support and go and watch. So probably in a later date we'll talk about Cardiff City a little bit. But for today's first topic, I want to talk about Liverpool. So Liverpool this season, we're going to be talking about specifically. It's gone shit. It's gone shit the past month or so. Liverpool up until sort of Christmas, we're doing really well. You got Jurgen Klopp, who's this German manager, who is highly regarded in world football. He's got his own kind of style of play called the Gegenpress, which is basically is high press in football. So a defender, an opposing defender, got the ball. He's on the ball. He's going to pass it. Your centre forward's going to be there, trying to close him down, trying to sort of block his avenue to pass it. And then once he passes the ball to the next person, the next striker or centre midfielder or whatever will then dive in and try and press him and stop him. And basically, you force his mistakes and you just press, trying to force mistakes until the opposing player loses the ball. And that's basically what the Gegenpress is. It's a very interesting style of football which Liverpool play at the moment, and it's a really enjoyable style to actually watch. The biggest problem with Liverpool currently is that there's no backup plan. There doesn't seem to be a backup plan. There's no large centre forward on the field. What Liverpool could do with really is like a Diego Costa type of player, somebody who can, you can beat a player, you can't muscle the player, but you can stick the ball in the box, you can head it in. We haven't really got that. Divock Origi, who was on the bench, he's a very fast player, although he does lose the ball quite a lot, unfortunately. He's got a decent shot on him, but again, he's one of those players which you've got to give him 5 chances before he puts one in the back of the net. That's the sort of player he is. Plus, he's on the bench most of the time, which goes to tell you he's not considered a starter in the Liverpool team. Daniel Sturridge, fantastic player. gift of a left foot, really, really talented player. Always does pretty well for England when he plays for England. But again, he's a player which he doesn't seem to do it in the current Liverpool way of playing. The way Liverpool play is like having like three false nines almost. It's got sort of Adam Lallana, Philippe Coutinho, Roberto Firmino. They're sort of like the front three, and Sadio Mane as well, which they signed this season. And the three or four of them, they sort of interchange. They move their positions around the field. There's no recognised striker, and I feel like that's one of the things Liverpool lack. Because when the Gegenpress doesn't work, because it works against good teams, like Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, Man City. Liverpool have had good results against those teams this season. Teams that are going to get the ball down, try and play against them. Liverpool can sort of soak that pressure up, do the Gegenpress, and then press, and all of a sudden, Liverpool find themselves in a strong position in the match. That's what happens. But then you've got teams like Swansea, for example, who came to Anfield, shut up shop, just stuck 10 players behind the ball and said, "Come at me, bro." That's basically what Swansea did. And Liverpool don't know what to do against teams like that. They don't know how to break those teams down, because what Liverpool do is just pass the ball aimlessly around the defence, looking to sort of find a player, and then all the team's got to do is get the ball, knock it over the top, and then centre forward onto it, and on the counter they'll get a goal. And that's basically how you play against Liverpool currently. The thing is, everyone can see it. Hull have done it recently. Plymouth, there were times in the FA Cup where Plymouth were doing it. Wolves did it in the FA Cup and knocked us out of the FA Cup. Teams have caught on to it and know how to play against it, and it's really, really frustrating at the moment being a Liverpool fan. The first sort of few months of the season, it was like, yeah, but the last kind of month or so, it's just been, oh my god, it's been cringeworthy. So I think Liverpool will need to get a striker in the summer. I think Daniel Sturridge will leave. He's a sort of you can see him. His body language isn't like what it was a few years ago. Him and Suarez together, like three years ago, were electric. They were really good. They call it the SAS, didn't they? Suarez and Sturridge. They were really good, and I feel like Sturridge needs a strike partner. Not saying he needs Suarez. I mean, I'd love to have Suarez back, obviously, but he needs somebody up there with him, I think, to get the best out of him. When you see him play for England, he's always got players up there with him. He's got Sterling in support. He's had Rooney up there in the past. He's had Welbeck up there in the past. He's had Jay Rodriguez and Ricky Lambert, and you think of the players that have played in the past few seasons for England. They've all been up there with Sturridge, and Sturridge has had that support and that sort of style of play to match his style of play. But the way Liverpool play currently, I don't think it suits him. I don't think his heart's in it anymore. I think Sturridge will probably leave in the summer or in the near future, in the next transfer window in the summer. But Liverpool need a striker. I say Diego Costa. We're not going to get Diego Costa, let's be honest. Chelsea are going to win the league and going to win the league easily this season. But need a player, like a plan B, somebody who can come on there. I mean, they had Ricky Lambert before, but he's a step in the wrong direction. He's too slow. He's had his best days. But you want somebody who can have a bit of physical presence, who's got enough about them to sort of change the game. Look at Manchester United, because Zlatan Ibrahimovic, by no means is he the fastest player ever. He's like, what's he, 6'4", 6'5". He's a giant. But he's got a hell of a first touch in him. He's got a hell of a shot in him. He reads the game so well. Liverpool just need somebody who can read the game well, mix it up a bit in the opposition sort of penalty area, and a plan B. That's what Liverpool needs. So it's been a frustrating season so far. They play really good football. When it clicks into gear, Liverpool play some of the best football in the league. You see them sort of put 5 or 6 past teams sometimes, and Liverpool can do that. Liverpool are good enough to do that. Like I said, you've got Lallana, Firmino, Coutinho. They are very talented players, those players, on their day. The problem is they are very similar. They're all that kind of cam, that central attacking midfielder, right attacking midfielder type of player. They're all too similar, and they need something different, I feel. But it's by no means a poor season. I've read on some of the Liverpool forums recently that there are actually a couple of fans out there that are like, Klopp out, a little bit like Arsenal fans do with Arsene Wenger. Is he in? Is he out? I can't believe people are like saying about Jurgen Klopp right now after just a bad month. We all have bad days. We all have bad months in football. It's very much a form game. I'm pretty confident Liverpool will come back. And the thing is, if the title race is over, Chelsea are going to win the league, and you'd think, right, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, Man City, they're all up there as teams competing for the top 4. Only 3 of them can get the remaining places. I'm quite confident Liverpool can finish in the top 4, and that'll be a good season. I'm obviously disappointed with the Cups, the fact we got knocked out of the League Cup in the semi-final against Southampton, and obviously the fact that Wolves knocked us out of the FA Cup, that's a shocker. But at the same time, we played stupid teams. We played all the youngsters, and that's one of the things I hate about the FA Cup is so many big teams devalue the FA Cup now. It's almost not enjoyable to watch. I mean, it is from the point of view that you've got teams like Lincoln that are still in the Cup, and of sort of like a non-league team that are still in it and are in like the 5th round currently. which is the furthest, I think, for like 15 years or something, the non-league team's gone. So it's great to see that, the Magical Cup is still alive from that aspect. But at the same time, it'd be a much better competition if bigger teams start playing the youngsters. For example, the FA Cup, if you win it, you get a place in the Europa League. Can you imagine if they scrapped the top four, only had a top three that were to compete for the Champions League? So top three in the Premier League, first, second, third, all qualify, and then the fourth place instead would go to the FA Cup winners. So if like, for example, Chelsea win the league this year and win the FA Cup, then the team that finishes fourth would then get the Champions League space. But if a team that's like in the Championship, for example, wins the FA Cup, they go into the Champions League. It would mix things up completely, and teams would then take the FA Cup a lot more seriously. And I think that's something that they could definitely address and change in the future, and maybe get more entertaining. Can you imagine? Like, for example, the 2008 final was between Portsmouth and Cardiff, and Portsmouth won the FA Cup. Can you imagine if Portsmouth qualified for the Champions League when they won that FA Cup? Can you imagine if Wigan played in the Champions League when they won the FA Cup? It's insane to think that, but I just feel like they could take the FA Cup a bit more seriously, and it's something they need to address in the future, because at the moment there's way too many games. The replay system doesn't really work. It's just annoying when you've got these midweek games, when you've got important league matches on the weekend, and people moan, managers moan all the time, but over fixture congestions and stuff. Well, scrap the replay system, have it like the League Cup, where you've got to have a knockout system up until like the semi-final, and then perhaps it's got to be done on the night down semi-final anyway on the day. So have it straight knockout all the way to the final. Just do something like that. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the FA Cup. That's my thoughts on Liverpool's season. We're going to move on now from the first sort of topic. We're going to go to the second topic now, which is lack of enthusiasm for video games. So this is something which I've quite recently come across. Maybe because I'm getting older, and when you get older, become a lot more grouchy. In my case, I think that's starting to happen right now. But I just find that I have a lack of enthusiasm for video games. I'm sort of talking newer video games now than I did when I was a bit younger. For example, Resident Evil 7 came out recently on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, etc. Actually, is it on Xbox? I'm not sure, but I know it's on PlayStation and I know it's on PC. I was actually thinking of getting it. I've played Resident Evil 6, I completed it, quite enjoyed it. I've got Resident Evil 4, I've never played 4, but Panda has played it and I've watched her play it. So it's safe to say I'm a bit of a newbie when it comes to Resident Evil games, but I know enough about it. And I played the demo on my PlayStation for Resident Evil 7 a couple of months ago, and I actually streamed it with Panda as well. And I thought, this is a pretty good game, this could be exciting. But then, towards release, I just got this kind of urge not to play. I was like, I don't know if I can be bothered to play it. And since it's come out, I go onto YouTube Gaming to see who's streaming. Every single person is streaming the same game. It's all Resident Evil 7 currently. And I'm thinking to myself, there's just nothing unique. Like, if I was a new person and wanted to pick out a streamer, I wouldn't know who to pick, essentially, because they're all doing the same thing. And no one's really standing out or jumping out, as far as I'm concerned. And that's, now obviously I'm talking about streaming, more along the lines of streaming as far as, kind of lack of enthusiasm goes for video games. But it's happening with a few games. It's like I've bought games in the past. I've gone to game with Panda, and I've bought like bundles of games for like 3 for 15 or 3 for 20, that sort of thing in game. And I've come home and I've played one of the games, and then 2 of the other games I've bought would be on the shelf for like 6 months before I even touch them, because it's just like, I can't be bothered. I don't know whether it's just the fact I'm getting older, whether it's the fact I'm getting greyer. I'm not talking about my head, by the way. I'm talking about my ball sack, guys. It's getting a bit grey. I'm playing with it right now, actually, and yeah, it's quite grey, unfortunately. And just giving that a mental image for the sake of it, why not? And I don't know what it is, but it's a newer games come out. People talking about Mass Effect Andromeda, and they're like, "Are you excited, DH? Are you excited?" I'm like, yeah, I guess. WWE 2K17 came out last year. I was like, yeah, not gonna bother. Then they announced it was gonna be on PC. I'm like, okay, maybe I will get it on PC. It's actually gonna be out this week, and I said to Panda, I'm probably gonna get it, but I don't really feel, if I buy it, when am I gonna play it? Is it gonna be 2 or 3 weeks time? Is it gonna be a month's time? Am I gonna stream it? Am I buying it to stream? That's the thing as well. I've got so many games on my Steam, for example. If I just open up my Steam, I have the monitor by here while I do this. I got 162 games on my Steam library. 162. I think probably about 80 of them, so about 50% I've played, and the rest I haven't touched or even installed. I've bought bundles and stuff. I'm thinking to myself at the time, ooh, Steam sale, I'm going to buy it, and then I don't play it. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, literally, the only game I play at the moment is Football Manager 2017 and Witcher 3. That's only because I'm streaming The Witcher 3 and I'm doing a series on Football Manager. That's it. I've got FIFA 17. FIFA 17, really good game. If you like football, if you're into football, you're obviously going to enjoy it. Same with Pro Evolution Soccer. I got FIFA 17. I haven't touched it. I haven't played it for about 2 months. To be honest with you, I haven't played it for about 2 months, and I just feel like the kind of enthusiasm for video games now sort of wears off for me. I don't know whether it's the case because I'm getting older, or whether it's just just a fact of life. But let me know what you guys think. Do you have a lack of enthusiasm for video games these days, or is it just getting old and grey like me, or I don't know. I'm sure there'll be games that will come out which I will enjoy. I'm like, oh, I gotta get that. But at the moment, I just feel like I'm on a bit of a lull with video games currently. Okay, and we're going to move on now swiftly to our final topic, and that is the standard of WrestleMania, the WrestleMania card. So we'll start with Royal Rumble. I watched the Royal Rumble pay-per-view with Panda the other day. I was quite underwhelmed. It didn't live up to the hype. The match itself, the Royal Rumble match itself, was okay. Randy Orton won, which didn't really shock me because I think they've been struggling with sort of injuries to key wrestlers. We've recently had the whole Seth Rollins thing where he's in a feud with Triple H, looks like it's going to be good, and then he gets injured on Raw by Samoa Joe. Great debut by Samoa Joe, but unfortunately, the fact he's injured Seth Rollins means the whole WrestleMania card is in jeopardy. You got Finn Balor, who's a fantastic wrestler, one of my favorite wrestlers, the Demon King, and he may or may not be fit for WrestleMania. I think he'll be back probably a month or so beforehand, but obviously once he comes back, they're going to rush him into a storyline. Samoa Joe now is a heel, Triple H is a heel on Raw, so they've got to find a feud for Samoa Joe before WrestleMania because he's someone who deserves to be on the card because he's that damn good. You then got AJ Styles, who they're rumouring to be against Shane McMahon. I mean, why have they got to put McMahon in a WrestleMania match? He was at last year's WrestleMania against The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, so why have they got to put him in another match against another top wrestler? It just does my head in. There's rumours now that because Seth Rollins is injured, Triple H may bring back Batista and they'll have a match. Well, you got you got a part timer and someone's looking to retire soon on the card, taking up a younger wrestler's space. And that's the irritating thing with wrestling is that I find that they rely too much on part timers, especially at WrestleMania. Look at last year's WrestleMania. You had Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Mick Foley all come out to a massive pop from the crowd. Yeah, it was great. They had their 5 minutes of sort of time on the screen and stuff, and they all did their thing. Heartbreak Kid did it, woo, and then Mick Foley's like, "Have a nice day," and Austin comes out with the shattered glass thing, and he's there with his jacket on and stuff. It looks cool, and then they basically rip into who was it? Was it the Wyatt family? No, it was the League of Nations, because that was a wonderful idea, wasn't it? The League of Nations, and completely tore into them. Just didn't put them over at all. Wrecked them completely. And the New Day sort of join in. Then they get wrecked as well. It's like you got the New Day and you've got the League of Nations, which they're your current guys. They're the ones that go to your house shows week in, week out. They're the ones you're trying to build up and get over with the crowd. And then you just feed them to these part-timers all the time. And I feel like every year they do the same sort of thing with WrestleMania. Last year's WrestleMania, The Rock came out, John Cena came out. They had a bit of a feud with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt, I love, one of my favorite wrestlers. Wyatt's really unique, sort of stable in wrestling. And The Rock puts, just destroys him, defeats Eric Rowan in 8 seconds or something like that. WrestleMania record apparently. Annoying. So, needless to say, I'm a bit worried about the WrestleMania card. I think it's going to be good. I'm hoping it's going to be good. At the moment, they haven't really confirmed too much. We got Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. That'll be good because I think they've done a pretty good job building their story. The fact that obviously they had a shit WrestleMania 20 in 2004 because both wrestlers were leaving the company. But since then, Lesnar's come back, been dominant and been really good as a part-timer. Goldberg come back, which is like, whoa, he's actually come back because apparently he didn't have a very good relationship with the people behind the scenes at WWE. So he's come back. They've had this feud now going on since Survivor Series. They had a nice build for that. I think they did it the correct way as well because they built it up really well and they shocked you because Goldberg won just like that. Then the same thing at Royal Rumble. Lesnar's there dominating. Goldberg comes out. They have their massive stare down. Looks like Lesnar's about to hit in and boom, out the ring you go. Bye-bye, Lesnar. Bye-bye. So they haven't really had too much action on each other as well, which is really good because it builds that intrigue and you then want to see it at WrestleMania. So I think they're doing a pretty good job with that. That's one match I am fairly excited for. Interested to see what they do with The Undertaker. Apparently, he is rumored to be against Roman Reigns. I don't mind Roman Reigns, right? I think as a wrestler, he's pretty good. He doesn't get the credit he deserves as far as his performances go in the ring. It's just the case that Roman Reigns is the main guy in the company now, and the way he's been sort of pushed and shoved down your throats is just really annoying, which I don't like. And if they're going to put him against The Undertaker, then I have I have a bad feeling. So I'm a bit worried if they do that. There's rumours there's going to be Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho, maybe for the Universal title. Who knows? Unless they take the title off him, because that's rumoured that the Universal title could be on Jericho or Kevin Owens coming into sort of WrestleMania. So yeah, it's all up in the air. Nobody really knows the card at the moment. That's worrying because usually by sort of Royal Rumble time, January into February, you pretty much know like 80% of the card. You can sort of predict it. It's like, oh, I know that, but at the moment you don't really know. The worrying thing for me is that when you think you've got the Universal title match, you've got the WWE title match, you've got Lesnar versus Goldberg, so there's 3 matches there. You think then, okay, they'll probably have a tag team match of some sort, probably the New Day, Cesaro, Sheamus, maybe they'll have, what's it called, the current tag team champ, the club, maybe they'll have the club, maybe they'll have like a 3 or 4 sort of way tag team match or something, they'll try and incorporate it that way. But then you think, okay, they got the Andre the Giant Battle Royale, so they'll probably have like, 10, 15, 20 wrestlers in there. They'll all be like people like Zack Ryder, people like that. Although Ryder's injured currently, but like Mojo Rawley, that sort of thing, and put all that in there. Then you think, okay, so you've got the Divas, so you've got 2 Divas titles now. So you've got the SmackDown one, so you've got like Alexa Bliss, you've got Becky Lynch, people like that. Then you've got the Raw ones, you've got Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley. And the more you add her up and you think, okay, I'm going to flash up the card. Okay, you've got like AJ Styles here, you've got Samoa Joe to get in, Triple H is going to be in a match, maybe with Batista, maybe not, who knows. And you think this show, you could have a pre-show as well. You can have people like Dean Ambrose and The Miz and Baron Corbin on the pre-show, and that's just such a disservice. Dean Ambrose, as far as I'm aware, has not missed a house show in like 18 months or something. He's there week in, week out. He is one of my favorite wrestlers, so I am a bit biased, but he is such a good person on the mic. He's a great company guy from what I can make out. And it'd be such a shame to have somebody like him on the pre-show. And The Miz as well. The Miz has been one of the best performers this year. This is why I love SmackDown so much. They got The Miz, they got Dean Ambrose. They just have such a good sort of chemistry. They've got people like Dolph Ziggler. You mentioned Dolph Ziggler yet. He might not even be on the main card. He might be on the pre-show. So it is kind of worrying when you put all that together and think, what are they going to come up with? It's a stark contrast to last year's WrestleMania, where they had a show they had to try and fill out, and they had like everyone injured. Like last year, you had Seth Rollins injured, Cena was injured, so couldn't really compete. You were looking for people to sort of turn up last year. It was like, hello, John, do you want me to wrestle? Because it was bad. Last year's WrestleMania was one of the worst, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. But I got hopes for this year. They got so many people that are in a position where they can put into good matches. It's just, do I trust the people booking WrestleMania to make good matches? That's my kind of gripe. And WrestleMania, it's a one-off thing. It's once a year. It's the biggest show. They got to put on the biggest and best they can possibly do. And I just got my doubts, guys. Just got my doubts. Anyway, guys, I think we'll probably end it here. We've nice little discussion. Got a few things off my chest. I literally just wrote down the stuff I wanted to talk about on here, jotted it down, hit the record button, and just started recording straight away. I like to do it that way sometimes. If you have any topics you would like me to discuss, then let me know in the comment section below, guys. I can bring them up in the next video when I do this. I'll take any sort of discussions. Just let me know, and I'll just say, right, this person said this, I'll talk about this. It can be about absolutely anything you want to. Be about gaming, films, movies, TV series, football, personal stuff, anything you want to, and I'll try and bring it up as a topic and discuss it in a future video. As I said at the start of the video, if you want to check out any of my stuff, everything you need is in the description below. All social media, referral, and stream links in the description below. It's also going above my head as well, little reminders and stuff of what I've got, so it's all there, guys. And also, finally, a big thank you to all my awesome patrons who are, of course, in the description below as well. Anyway, guys, I am going to end this video here. I've been Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.